here we are now. Like I've said before, there was a time where I was in the underworld music scene, but I don't really give a lot of details on it. A lot of those little details are hidden within the song, things that I was feeling, things that I was experiencing. So I think I'll become a little more open about those things as we read through. However, I'd also like to mention, please feel free to keep your own interpretation. This is how the song relates to me personally, but I think it has a different meaning for everyone, and if it could stay that way, I'd be really happy. Let's see. We'd run right through those nights. I kind of get this image of running through the city with a bunch of friends, because I have a lot of really good, distinct memories of times after shows, after seeing performers I liked a lot, running through the underworldian city. And those times felt really free. But yeah, I'll never find my way back to you inside this labyrinth of lights. Labyrinth of lights be in the city. Kind of like a concrete jungle adjacent kind of thing, right? Is what I imagine. I think it's really nice imagery. And I guess you is kind of referring to all the friends that I made back then. Yeah, because I had a lot of really cool acquaintances. I had a lot of really cool mentors that helped me out. Yeah, but I guess in a way, as I'm reminiscing about those times, I can't imagine myself finding them again in the city, because things have just changed too much, you know? There was madness in the meaning. I guess the meaning here is kind of referring to, like, why? Why was I doing this? Chasing a dream, etc. There was this kind of craziness, unbelievableness in it. A lot of times, it's kind of funny. I tell people the story, or at least I did tell people the story of my existence a lot of times. Back when I was swinging my scythe around, people would constantly ask me, "Hey Calli, so what do you like do in your free time when you're not swinging your scythe around, when you're not reaping souls? What else are you doing?" And like, I would be like, "Nah, you don't want to hear this. It's a boring story. And if I told you, you wouldn't believe me." And they say, no, try me, Calli, try me." "Okay, do you really want to hear it? Just because I don't think you're gonna believe." "No, it's okay. I'll listen. Tell me what you have to say." And then I'll start off telling the story, and I'll get about like 1 minute into it, and they'll just be gone. And I'll be like, "Hey," and they'll just be doing something else. I wish I was joking. I wish I was joking. So I just stopped telling people. I just stopped. Now people say, "Calli, what do you do?" I'm like, "Nothing. I just write songs as a hobby." I went to Japan once. It was cool. Yeah, I recommend it. It's rude. I listen. Well, see, that's the nice thing. I know you guys are listening, so it's okay for me to tell you guys, right? I guess it is kind of an unbelievable story, in a sense. Yeah. Oh well. Have you guys ever had times like that where people ask you to explain something to them, like a game you like or a movie you like, and you say to them, "No, you're not gonna get it," and then they force you to, and then you do, and then it's as you thought it would be? Because I see some people saying relatable in the chat. Yeah, it do kind of be like that. It is rude, but they just don't believe it. It is what it is. It's fine. I don't need them to believe it anyway, now that I've especially gotten more shy about things. I like kind of don't want to tell people anymore. I feel like there was a time where I'd want to, but that time has passed a little bit. Never laughless, we were screaming at the top of our lungs to the numbness, the city never died. So I feel like these are pretty self-explanatory. We were always laughing. It was always fun. I mean, it had some shitty times too, don't get me wrong, but you're always kind of laughing about stuff. And also lots of screaming. Yeah. I guess the numbness here that I'm referring to is the general feeling of, it's hard to explain. The numbness of daily life, especially within the city. But we kept on kind of screaming and making a ruckus, making lots of noise, making lots of music. And in a sense, you know, the city never died. Yeah, it was always lively. It was always lively because we kept making noise. Yeah. I'll fly, no proof, those heights. My general feeling of I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna be big someday, But I couldn't prove it. I couldn't prove it was going to happen, but I wanted to fly high. So I believed that I would back then. I had this feeling of belief inside of me, but also at the same time, no proof. So I didn't really think anything big was gonna happen. I didn't really think I was gonna become anything, even though I wanted to. I didn't actually think anything was gonna happen. I think a lot of others felt the same way. Everyone's got that little dream of being big, but only about 30% actually believe it. And now you are here. I know, it's crazy, which is why I ended up writing the song. Yeah, and I was hopeless coming in early. That's right. Exactly. I'll never find another chance to say, hey, thanks for saving my life. This is referring to all of the mentors and people who inspired me to make music, as well as the friends that were there to cheer for me and be beside me when I felt like I was hopeless, when I felt like nothing was gonna happen. So yeah, I was hopeless, it was stinging. Again, didn't really believe anything was gonna happen. Had no real hope. I thought what was going... let me tell you exactly what I thought was going to happen with my music career. I thought what was gonna happen was I was gonna go into the underworldian scene and try my best and never really make it super far, then return home and write a comic about it. and it's got a sad ending to the comic where it's this realistic take where dreams don't come true. And yeah, it was just a really depressing story that I had planned for myself. End up telling future generations about this great adventure that happened, but ultimately couldn't evolve into a big success story. But I guess the good part about it was just that it happened, right? The theme is supposed to be, even though there was no big success story, I was glad that it happened. Well, here we are. I don't know if I can still write something like that anymore. If I did, it would be fiction. We're gonna get into more of these complicated feelings that come from this a bit later. But yeah. Yeah. Emo Reaper. I told you I'm edgy! I can't do anything about it. I tried so hard. I've tried so hard. Like, I make myself internally C-word into myself, like, all the time. I'll do something and I'll just die. Like, it's hard to explain. I guess you just can't change, if you are that way. You just can't change it. Yeah, so I guess you just get over it. You just get over yourself. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, just get over yourself. Continuing on, running roadless. We were singing at the top of our lungs, the numbness, the city never died. This line changes to driving roadless, to kind of like show evolution of speed, I guess, from the beginning to the end. Yeah, without a road, without a path, it was just kind of running, but also singing at the top of our lungs, the numbness, the city never died. Yeah. Continuing to verse 1. What was the root of What was the root of it all? I couldn't say. Where was the start? I don't even know where to start sometimes, to be completely honest. Used to jump and then fall, rugged and cliched. Yeah, this is kind of another testament to just me being super edgy, and super cliched. My story is super cliched. Yeah, I mean, if you hear it, it's kind of hard to believe. But yeah, jumping and falling, reaching out for opportunities, making a fool of myself all the time, trying out new things, being bad at them. Some of my earlier work, etc., just like tossing out rhymes in the underworld, not great. Just not great. But I would toss things out there and just see how things would go. But yeah, that's kind of the dream, or the entire vision of being the rugged underground rapper, whatever. You know, just tossing out rhymes, jumping and falling, rugged, cliched, and edgy as hell. That's what you're like. Would shrug it off without complaint, not a sound. no use in trying to find friends because in the end nobody sticks around. I've had a weird relationship with friendship in my life. I think I mentioned this before, but there's been a whole lot of you scratch my back, I scratch your back kind of friendships in my life. It starts off like connecting over something. This is something that's happened like several times in my life. And like you're cool with each other and you like each other. But I always ended up becoming friends with people who I could help and they could also help me. So it always became this situation of what can you do for me? What can I'll do this for you, but can you do this for me? Kind of thing. And a lot of kind of bad, I don't want to say bad friendships, but kind of friendships that were doomed to not end well began to sprout. And it's always kind of been that way. But I guess part of it was because I was a big loner. And I didn't like to keep myself too connected to other people. So I always felt that I had like the best, healthiest relationships with people I didn't get too close to. Yeah. Mutually parasitic, you could call it that. I always had like a weird relationship with friendships. Sometimes people would stop being friends with me when I realized that it was too late. A lot of times friendships would end when I couldn't do anything else for people. Because that's how it goes. Either I would end up leaving someone who couldn't do anything for me anymore, or people would leave me because I couldn't do anything for them. That's how it usually was in the very beginning. In the start, it would be that way. People would leave me because I couldn't do anything for them. And so I morphed into this person later in my life where I was the one doing that to people. I would grow distant from people when they couldn't do anything else for me. Of course, until I started doing this, and then I met everyone in Hololive English, and my perspective kind of changed on all of that. My view on friendship. I started wanting to do things for them without expecting them to do anything for me. And it felt good to have friends where we didn't really expect anything of each other. We just offer to help each other with things, and it felt good. Didn't really feel like we owed each other anything. So yeah, they really changed me for the better, I think. No, this has become a long explanation for this part, but that's basically how my relationship with friendship has gone. So now that is friendship. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, there are a few exceptions to what I've just explained. Mostly people that I would draw with. I think they're a big exception. People that I'm still friends with now, but there are very few exceptions. Between them and also Hololive English girls really changing my perspective. I'm really thankful to those people for kind of changing my view of friendship for the better. I'm glad it worked out this way. But to those that I've kind of lost along the way, I do still hope they're doing well in their lives, and that there's like no hard feelings or like weird stuff, you know? Yeah. Trying to remain positive about it. Yeah. So let's see. This part, though, referring in the end nobody sticks around, was mostly referring to, yeah, like I said before, earlier in my life, people just kind of left when they were done with me, which is sad. So it's when you shoved yourself into a crowded place that you turned around and found yourself in love in outer space. So outer space being a place you don't know, a place you don't recognize. For me, in this case, it was the underworldian rap scene in Japan. Yeah. It was a place I wasn't familiar with. It was a place I knew I didn't belong, but I shoved myself in there, into a crowded venue and just tried to make friends with people because what else was I gonna do? It was incredibly hard. Like ridiculously hard. But somehow, in a sense, we managed to have fun together despite not really speaking the same language. Just connecting through music, I guess. It wasn't all sparkles and rainbows. It was still hard to really make a connection, but But the best nights were when we were all just vibing together, regardless of anything, you know? And I still made some great connections there. And stressful, I bet. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Big stress for me. Oh, man, I was constantly wondering, am I doing something wrong? Should I even be here? Gosh. Music is a universal language? I'd have to agree with you on that. I think so as well, even if you can just get along through the vibes. Yeah, I feel like that's definitely true. So yeah, when I shoved myself into a crowded place, I found myself in love in outer space. So basically just in love with the scene. Cue the reckless nights, no strings, laughing at our own dreams. This is referring to making a group of friends that felt similarly about like making music as me. We'd have nights where we just went crazy and had fun, enjoying music together. Doing some tequila shots, I don't know. Fun stuff like that. Laughing at our own dreams, because we didn't think we were gonna make it. At least not everyone did. And some people probably did, but a great majority of us didn't really actually believe. It's kind of hard to explain. That's the bittersweetness of it all. We wanted it. Doesn't mean we didn't want it, but the actual belief, you know, you gotta try to be a little realistic. Or at least you think, but yeah, so we were kind of laughing at our own dreams, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a big famous rapper, collab with Snoop Dogg someday, ha ha ha, but then it's always a joke, and that's like the punchline. And then just what the hell was so funny is just kind of like, why was that funny? Especially now that I've made it this far, it's like looking back at it now, doesn't really seem that comical anymore. I guess, like, things can actually happen, dreams can come true, but I just don't really see the humor. It's because we were cynical and edgy, maybe. Bark up the wrong tree, stumble, used to fall in great heights. Wrong tree being underworldy in Japan. Used to fall in great heights, used to failing a lot, is what that means. Amidst a concrete jungle, singing because it felt right. Concrete jungle is the setting. Yeah. That is the setting of this story. Singing because it felt right. We just sang because we wanted to. Yeah. Unrealistic dreams are important. I would say so. But at the time, you know, some folks want to laugh and be like, oh, we're the realistic ones. We know that our dreams aren't going to come true, but we're just having fun. Right? We mix the ennui and troubles, rhyming our discontent. This is just talking about being edgy, moody in the underground rap scene. And though it's history, I can't forget the time that we spent. Self-explanatory. Convinced that this could mean another end exists between real and pretend. This is referring to a different universe where things didn't turn out the way that they did. A twisted alter fiction where I missed my chance, did not ascend. A different universe where I didn't learn about Hololive, didn't audition for Hololive. I don't know what would have happened. Disappearing into the mist of never happened is the me that I can never befriend. I let it go. Obviously it never happened, and the me that exists in that world, I can never actually talk to her. I can never actually hear what happened. I think a lot of things could have happened because different paths, they branch. So who knows if there would have been a different chance here or there. If I'd gone to this one place at this exact right time, I can never know what would have happened. So I let it go. I gave up trying to guess what that would have been like. Yeah. But occasionally my mind does kind of wander. Like, I wonder what life would have been like in that other world. You know? Into the multiverse. What if? Yeah, what if? I like this timeline. I like it too, man. I think I enjoy it as well. I am also happy with this one. I'm pretty happy with how things turned out, but I can't help that my mind wanders sometimes, you know? Like, what might have happened? What might have been? Fade in, fade out, this crazy dream, without a direction, floating aimlessly. Also pretty self-explanatory, just kind of floating about, with no real direction. That's how I was. There's nothing left back there for me. I mean, there really kinda isn't. Everywhere I look, every which way that I try and look back into the past, it seems like a lot of what I enjoyed and looked forward to, a lot of the shows I liked going to and people I liked talking to, have moved on in their own ways. So either just going back to working jobs without really doing music stuff. I mean, it's kind of hard for music things to happen right now, right? But regardless of anything, even if things do change in the world, I don't think it'll ever be the same. The same faces won't be there anymore. It won't be the exact scene that I saw back then, with the exact same people playing the exact same music, the same performers, the same, yeah, it's just not gonna be the same anymore, which is fine. Change is good. But yeah, I was really happy. They all moved on, yeah. A lot of people did, doing their own things, so I wish it was the same. Me too. Me too, but can't control the wills and wishes of so many people that were in that audience on those days. The people just kind of move along. You know, change can be a good thing, so I prefer to remain positive about it. So yeah, breathe in, take a deep breath. But it won't stop the rain from pouring. That means sometimes the tears might come, or maybe the mood will still be sad. The mood will still be down. Yeah, it'll feel like something's missing and the rain is gonna pour. We kind of talked about the chorus already in the beginning, but at the end we have, "This city never died, but was there ever a soul inside?" So the soul in this sense is referring to the general soul of a city. I think that the soul of a city can be defined by a bunch of different things, depending upon who you are, what your definition, I guess, would be. For me, it was, I guess, the music that filled the city and the people that were vibing to it late into the night, and just the overall feeling of liveliness and energy within kind of the venue district. I guess was the soul that I felt. And this is me wondering if it was ever even there at all, because I can't really feel it anymore. Now, next up, we got verse 2, which I feel like is the more intense verse that we have here. "Chasing fireflies between the soaring high-rises, left a trail behind, defined it wasted time of our lives." So yeah, this is just, in the beginning, a very sort of imagery-driven opening to the second verse. And I guess leaving the trail behind is the memories that we made back then. And defined it wasted time of our lives. People who moved on perhaps will look back on those days and think, haha, what were we doing? We were wasting our time, kind of thing. So that's kind of how you choose to define it in the interest of not getting too sentimental or anything. Perhaps there are some people who look at it as a wasted time, but also time of your life. It's like a combination of those two things. Wasted time, also time of our lives. So it was fun, but it was also a waste kind of thing. Yeah. So that's that part. Silent singer, overworked and underpaid. The silent singer part is referring to people who do music as a hobby. When you're at your job and people ask you what you're doing, but you don't tell them that you're a singer in the underworld of music. So you're kind of like quiet about it. Overworked and underpaid kind of refers to working minimum wage job, which I did for a long time, like a really long time. Even when I was doing scythe swinging, that was actually even worse than minimum wage. It felt strange when I was still tutoring those scythe swingins, because I was looking at how much I made then every month and how much I made every day streaming and having fun with you guys. And it did something weird to me mentally. But back in the day, it was like that. I'd spend so much of my life doing that work and feeling like I wasn't making anything from it. And it was all for the sake of being where I wanted to be. Living where I wanted to live. It was hard, it was rough for a long time. Thinks an office is a coffin until office where you're laid. So this line here certainly doesn't refer to everyone. I know plenty of people who work desk jobs and are incredibly successful and happy with their lives. this isn't that kind of work. This isn't a fulfilling job that I had. This isn't something that made me happy. It was something that made me sad and stressed, and I didn't like it. This is not one of those nice jobs. And I think you can choose to see it the way that you want, but this is how it is for me. So thinking that I was either going to just like live and die in this office until I die or I get fired. Work in this desk job until I die or I get kicked out. That's what I thought. So, a place that locks you down. Indeed. Yeah, so I feel like maybe some folks could relate to this line. That was kind of how I felt. Yet a thought persists. The thought. It's that one pesky thought that says you're gonna be something great, you're gonna do something great. Even if you're not gonna be something great, you're gonna do something great. It's that one thought. Yet a thought persists. An optimist who ought to be afraid. Me looking at things positively, not really seeing the hard bad things that might happen. I guess. Saw the nothing wrong in writing songs behind a lonely shade. Man, I was happy writing songs without a super big audience, is the truth. I'm happy now writing songs in front of a big audience. That's also nice, but I had no problem with not many people listening. It was fine. Lonely, sure, but I was okay with it. Yeah, that's what that line is about. Is the world a sadder place without the words that you conveyed? When the ladder fell and shattered every bar that we had played. So this second line has like a double meaning in it. But yeah, let's start off with, is the world a sadder place without the words that you conveyed? Without those words from back then, is the world sadder? Do lyrics even really make a difference? Or do the things you do make a difference? Do the things you say change anything for the better? They change things for the worse? Can you even tell? When the ladder fell and shattered every bar that we had played. To be really literal with what this means to me, the ladder is the ladder that all artists and creators climb. The ladder of, you know, obviously who's at the top, who's in the middle, who's at the bottom. It's a climb. It's a ladder that we were all climbing in this scene, right? But it fell eventually, and I think you guys can kind of guess why it fell. And shattered every bar that we had played. This has a double meaning. You can think of it as bar, as in bar where we drink and have fun and enjoy music. A lot of those closed down. A lot of happy memories I had in those places that will never come back because those places are gone forever. You just really hate that. You just really hate that a lot. It was a big problem. It's not even a secret that has been a big problem for a lot of the venues in both underworldian and overworldian Japan. A lot of them shut down. It was incredibly sad. A lot of people kind of tried to revive them, keep them alive, but it was pretty much impossible for a lot of them. And then you can also think of it as in a musical sense, like bars to a rap song. A song in general, actually. But yeah, the music essentially stopping. And the ladder falling down, basically the death of a scene, of a place, of a group. However you want to kind of think about it. But does it matter? In the end, the sound diminished and decayed. Pretty self-explanatory, the music kind of stopping. And your friends grew tired of fantasy, you're wishing they had stayed. Friends that I had made from those times, they kind of stopped doing music. I'm not sure if everyone gave up, per se. I think a lot of people moved on with their lives because it was what was right for them. And I think that's a good thing in the end. But wishing they had stayed. Wishing they had stuck around so we could keep having fun like we did back then. Wishing that they had stayed to have fun and run around through those nights again. You don't get to say I miss you. It's kind of beaten up on myself for this part here. Kind of like, oh, you miss those people? Is that so? Well, you should get over it because you watched your heroes fade into the rearview mirror of the villain you portrayed. This is a really intense line right here. I cannot doubt there are a lot of people that I really looked up to and admired. Heck, even people that inspired me to do music in the first place. That without a doubt, doing this, in terms of eyes on my work, I kind of surpassed them. I don't feel like I did in skill. There are some musicians that I listen to them and I think to myself, how are you this underrated? How? People who have been doing music for years and years and years. Double the time, 3 times the time that I've been doing music. And in an instant, just like that, all of those people that I looked up to as heroes, suddenly, be blunt, I became more popular than a lot of them. And that made me extremely guilty. Extremely guilty to be serious with you guys. For a long time, it really mentally affected me. So yeah, that's this line right here. And to say that maybe some folks were not extremely happy about that, I think it didn't only hurt me, but I think some other people were also hurt as well. And so in a sense, I felt like I was a villain, like I was the bad guy of that story. Suddenly, I'm driving away into the distance, watching my heroes fade as the villain of the story. That was how I saw myself. So we continue. Stop the pity party. Listen, you don't get to be dismayed. You don't get to be emotional. Feel blessed you got it made. This is also me beating up on myself, saying stop feeling bad for yourself. Stop. You should feel grateful that you got this far, that you got this chance to kind of stop pitying yourself so much. Just feel blessed that things worked out for you. And I know I should be doing that, but maybe Reaper, but also in a sense human as well. And I can't help that I still feel bad about that. That will never change. What I really like is I guess I just wanted some of them to be proud of me. Sorry. And say like, hey kid, you did a good job, you know? But that didn't happen. And I'm glad you guys are. Thanks. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. When all is said and done, it's something that it makes it less hard to push forward. Yeah. I feel blessed. I feel blessed. I feel blessed I got it made because I get to see you guys and sing for you guys. And I'm glad that the words that I sing in my songs can have a meaning for you all. So thank you. Thank you for making me smile and making me excited about making music because I think, yeah, if this same thing happened without you guys cheering me on, I don't know what I'd do. I think it might be like too much for me to want to keep making stuff. So just thank you for that. Yeah. Whew! Emotional. Really emotional. Recollect the days you hoped and you prayed for this. What is there to miss? I mean, it was my dream. To sing in front of a big audience. I was okay with singing behind the lonely shade where no one could really hear me, but it was my dream to have this big audience that I could help in some kind of way with my music. If my music could inspire people, that kind of stuff. Or make your day a little brighter. That was my dream. And in those days, I had that dream and I hoped for it. Even laughing at myself for being edgy and whatever, I still hoped for that. So I guess the what is there to miss is just kind of me coping, I guess. Obviously there are things that I miss, but at the end of the day I gotta move on, you know? Fade in, fade out this hazy dream. The dream's starting to get hazy, starting to fade into the back without a direction, roaming aimlessly. There's nothing left back there for me. Pretend it's the end of a made-up story. My life kind of seems like a made-up story sometimes, guys. Hard to believe if you tell it to anyone. Yeah. Kind of feels that way sometimes, so I just kind of pretend that it ain't real sometimes. Not all the time, though. We went through the chorus. Driving, roadless. The city never died, I'll say goodbye to the soul inside. This is me saying goodbye to the scene that I knew from back then. Finally kind of letting go. And then the chant in the background. Let's take a closer look at it. And yet somehow there is romance in our self-hate, we've got no chance. This is just me painting a picture of us once again. Me and the people I used to run with back in the day. Were super pessimistic and kind of had this self-hate thing. But I say romance because it's like some kind of romantic, fantastical story. There's something kind of like artistic about it, I guess. Whatever way you look at it. It reads like that kind of story. In this light maze, but let's hold hands through the night haze, we'll run so fast. This is again some more imagery. Light maze meeting the city. And the night haze as well. The smoky venues. Holding hands, joining hands and being together. Vibing through the night. Running so fast. Till the school chime, till the train runs. We know it's time, we're the same ones. Until normal life starts up again. Whether you're going to school, whether you're trying to catch the train in the morning, until that time we're gonna have fun. Until reality starts up again, let's keep enjoying the night together. We know it's time, we're the sane ones. Kind of meaning that we know it's just a dream, that it'll end someday. Waking up now to the real life. Let me daydream till the next night. Again, kind of connecting to real life from this. Finally waking up, going back to your day-to-day, leaving the fantasy of the night behind. Waiting until the next night. I'll keep waiting. Yeah. And this line, I'll keep waiting for you, is my last hope. My last reaching out to that past world. The last hope saying, I'll keep waiting for you. I'll keep waiting for those people to return to that place. I'll keep waiting for that music to play that we all liked so much. I'll keep waiting for those fellow musicians that I'd talk with and perform with to come back, to return to that place. Because I gotta hold on to that hope that maybe, possibly, just maybe it could return. Maybe it won't be exactly the same, but there's always the chance that it isn't totally gone yet. There's always that little chance. Finally, let's see, this last part. Waking up now to my real life. Let me daydream till the next flight. This is a little flashback to the days that I used to fly all the way from my home to overworldian and underworldian Japan to participate in the underworld rap scene. I'd take a whole lot of flights. I have this image of me just bussing tables at some restaurant. I'd look out the window a lot and just fantasize about flying away back then. And keep daydreaming until I could save up enough money from that job to go again, you know? Drowning so long, I got older, kind of drowning in that nightlife scene. I didn't realize how fast time had gone by, and before I knew it, I was here and I realized that I had gotten a lot older. Now the crowd's gone. Is it over? Now that the audience has left and a lot of people have moved on and the scenery has changed quite a bit, I'm wondering to myself, is it over? Is the show done? Is this the end of that story? I mean, I knew that it would end. I knew, like all great things, that place, that scene would come to an end someday, but I didn't like imagine it would be so abrupt, you know. I thought it would last much longer. I still want to believe it's not over. I think in some senses it isn't, but things won't be exactly the same anymore. There are a lot of people that I know who are doing music, who had groups that did music that, you know, it feels like the end. And that's rough when there was a lot that I was looking forward to, but that's just kind of how it has to be. So, but I want to hold on to hope. I think there's always the chance. There's always that little chance, right? So that's my hope. That we all can meet again someday there. It's basically a song about parting and reminiscing, and also just kind of the end of one life so that a new one can begin. I think it's important to remember that. And it's okay to lament that things aren't the same anymore. Things have changed indefinitely. But I think, and it's also okay to let yourself be sad about them. Nothing wrong with being sad. Really easy to sit there and to tell people to be positive, but instead, you can let yourself feel sad, lament about those things, be glad that they happened, and then move to the next life. I think that's important. If one has to end so that another one can begin, then let it happen. And I hope both can turn out to be good, happy memories.